back here on Couch Coach Live, the 2 hour ride is Couch Coach Live. I'm joined by none other than LA. What's going on, LA?
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How was I don't know what we're doing today, man. I don't know. It's been a while, but hey.
Yeah.
We gonna, try to what's going on with that, but yeah. Okay, that explains. Okay, yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Most definitely. That's how we, so, hey, that's a part of the nature here, The show must go on. But, first off, we gotta start off with and it's funny. We always say. I remember we were talking about a few months ago. And we was like, man, July's gonna be a really slow month. Ain't really a lot of stuff that's gonna happen and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, for some odd, bizarre reason, like you said, we even said earlier, it seemed like this little 6-week window in between. It's the bad week when it comes in general as far as what's going on. But we gotta start off in college football. Our guy, DeAndre Johnson, the true freshman out of Florida State University. There has been a video that has surfaced.
And I just saw the video this morning.
Yeah. I guess without further ado,
he got suspended. What?
He got suspended indefinitely because the incident happened on June the 21st.
Okay.
24th. And now, of course, Tallahassee, the attorney office has released surveillance video of the Florida State University quarterback punching a woman at a bar last month.
Yeah.
So they did decide to charge him with a misdemeanor battery after viewing the footage of the West Tennessee street bar, Giannis, on June the 24th.
Okay.
So, your thoughts?
I mean,
it's kind of
first of all, him being like a true freshman. What is he doing at a bar? That's the first question.
Yeah.
And usually like there were no other teammates or nobody else was around to like control the situation. It was just crazy how everything happened. So I mean with that particular incident, it's just more technical difficulties.
yeah. It's all good. But yeah, and I know that was my first big major question. Was like, okay, why is a 19-year-old kid in a bar?
Yeah, and you can clearly see in the video like he was way past his limit. So I mean, I don't think they even gave him breathalyzer or anything like that.
But that's one of those things where it's. Yeah, and I mean, it's a very, very thin line. I mean, to me, it's like I don't know how to really, because you have to think to yourself, what is he doing in that situation at 19 years old at a bar?
Yeah,
First off,
way past his
way past his limit. And like we said, it's always hard when you look at this from that standpoint of, of course, in the video it does show her being the aggressor in the situation, and he, in a sense, he did at one point, as you can tell, he grabbed one of her arms.
Yeah, he grabbed her arm as soon as he tried to muscle his way to the
no,
ball.
and just to let her know, like, look, that was look, don't touch me. But she went for the juggler, and then she also kicked him in the, kicked him in the groin area, and then.
Was she with another guy?
I don't think so.
Because after he punched her, you see a woman run to her aid from across the bar, but
yeah.
I mean, because it's like the way the response that they got in the bar. So it looks like somebody pulled him away from it that knew of the situation. So he should have never been in that situation in the first place. So it's like, once again, you see another athlete getting in trouble with the company that he keeps. So
yeah. And I always feel as though when you got something to lose like this, don't fall into that trap.
Yeah.
I always feel as though if you got to look at the situation, who's got the most to lose?
Yeah.
You have the most to lose. She's gonna be fine. I mean,
she's gonna be paid now.
She's gonna be paid now. Because Tallahassee, now she can, Tallahassee police, as we all have been groomed to accustom how they let a lot of things slip under the rug.
But I think with this situation, they can't because of the whole James Winston.
And this was, and then that's the perfect proof of, if I go to Florida State, I really have to toe the line.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things where it's like, okay, I'm a freshman quarterback at Florida State. I should know. Yeah. The pitfalls that can come with being in that position, that predicament.
Because the first when the story first broke, they were saying like FSU quarterback in trouble. I'm thinking, what has Everett Golson done now?
Really?
That's the first name that pops up.
Yeah, like you just got on campus and you didn't. Yeah, but thank goodness it won't him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's unfortunate for the guy that he's gonna catch the hammer. Like he's gonna get like the death penalty as far as NCAA goes. They're gonna ship him off to some Division III school.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to hopefully bounce back from the situation. Resurrect his career so he can go play at the next level if that's what he chooses to do. But other than that, I mean, I think like with certain situations, at the same time, he's a 19-year-old kid, and he's gonna make these kind of mistakes. Yeah. So the punishment should fit the crime. I mean, if he gets to stay at Florida State, that's one thing. I say kick him off the team. But let him have a chance to redeem himself, because you see that so many times where they kick athletes out of school and then they just fall into the pitfalls of society, where they turn to drugs and other kind of crimes. You don't want to see another individual follow that same kind of pattern.
Especially with a guy of that type of potential, which he was a 2014 Mr. Florida in football. So to me, as far as him dismissing them, I kind of figured out, that was what they had to do. But then I just feel as though, like, hopefully he will get a second chance, because this is the land of second chances. And I mean, I understand, what he did in a sense, in most eyes, and generally everybody's eyes, that he did do something wrong. Yeah. But at his age, he shouldn't have to. That one moment shouldn't define the rest of his life. Yeah. And I mean, and we all, and it's easy for us to say, well, keep yourself out of that predicament. Sometimes, I don't know if we talked about it earlier on the show, probably on the previous show, but sometimes you just got to fall on your face for yourself instead of getting the guidance of others. Yeah. I mean, that's how most people in this life. That's how people live their lives.
Yeah. So what do you do with that second chance?
And what would you do with that second chance? And he knows he's on a very, very tight rope. Yeah. And then, hopefully this doesn't hurt his NFL.
Because that's going to come back.
And that's going to come back. And that's going to, if he goes
draft, speculation, combat, that question is going to show up, what's his history with this? How has he changed since this incident?
Exactly. And luckily, and for him, he's going to have 3 years. Yeah. The
problem what I do see, like, I understand he's a kid who made a mistake. Yeah. But, sometimes, like, teams, organizations, they react too quickly. Yeah. Where they could have, like, you see the clear incident in this, the factor in the incident was his alcohol. So, rather than the university take a black eye again with another, because it's gonna turn out racial because it was a white woman, black male. So, rather than the university take that black eye again, they just wipe their hands with the whole situation. When clearly there's a bigger issue on that campus than what they really realize. So, yeah.
And that's one thing that they have, like you said, going forward, this is something that they have to realize. Yeah. Like, and this is it's a cautionary tale for young athletes across the board. Yeah. Look, you gotta think to yourself, and you gotta put yourself in that predicament of, okay, somebody mess with me, guess what? They have the most, they don't have nothing to lose compared to me. Yeah. I'm a scholarship athlete at one of the top flight universities in the country. Anything I do in a negative light can affect me down the road. It can affect my ability to make money in the future. Yeah, ability to go to
all of that stuff is hard because in the heat of the moment, you can't calm down your adrenaline just like that. Yeah. It's just one of those unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, and with him, like we said, and we're not trying to say to give him a pass, but you got to remember, we all was 19 years old once upon our lives. I mean, some a little bit before, but sometimes
19 was not a good year.
Not here, yeah, and So actually, most definitely, we're gonna definitely talk about the plight of 19-year-old males in a lot of part of our Couch Coach Live. We're gonna discuss this week's topic of the State of the Union, where we'll be talking about the state of college basketball and the NBA as far as imposing an age limit. So we'll take another quick transition. We had a nice sibling rivalry take place in Wilmington yesterday. We had Serena beat Venus in 2 sets, and the match only lasted an hour and 8 minutes. So the younger sister destroyed the big sister. Yeah, almost like Baby D.
Yeah.
Tawana was a small one. Baby D was. I was like, how can the little sister be the big sister?
Bigger than the big sister.
Shout out to Day.
I mean, you look at Blake Griffin and Taylor Griffin.
It's a lot of
I think with them, I wouldn't call it a rivalry because they hate to say that it's a rivalry.
Because of course, but I mean, when two, especially of their success level, and then you gotta think about it. People, I don't understand. It's weird when you think about it because you gotta think about it. Venus is 35 and Serena's 33. Now, and tennis, that's like an NBA player 50.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because normally
it started at 14, 16, yeah.
And I mean, and to me, I think it's just amazing because, like they even said, this is, it's a great, and we don't know how long, we won't even know if this can ever happen again. As far as cherishing the moment and stuff, because you just never know. And then it's just amazing to think, especially with Serena being 33 and on top of her game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. People don't I remember when we were kids, and especially in the women's circuit, 28 was you need to retire. When you were in your late 20s, early 30s, it's why are you still here?
Like the Steffi Grafs.
Chris Everett.
Sharapova.
Yeah. Matter of fact, Sharapova and Venus, not Venus, but Serena gonna play on Thursday.
Okay.
For a trip to the Wimbledon final. And also, definitely give a shout out to the U.S. women national team who defeated Japan 5-2. Did you see the game on Sunday?
I did not watch the game.
What? It was one of those things where if you went to the restroom, you would have missed 3 goals. I mean, I
heard about the hat trick.
Yeah, shout out to Carly Lloyd who scored 3 goals. Okay, this is weird. I heard a story about Carly Lloyd the other day. Now, she's engaged, right? So her husband, she didn't want her husband to come to the game.
Okay.
And due to the fact that it was, in a sense, it could be a bad luck charm or what have you. And I'm thinking to myself, you might need to reevaluate your situation.
No, not necessarily. I mean, everybody.
To an extent.
You look at Kurt Schilling with the bloody sock. I mean, everybody has their.
Yeah, but come on now.
I mean, even down to when I sit there and watch an Eagles game, I try to remember what kind of meal I had during the last win, where I was at. I mean, everything has to be in the perfect limelight. So, I mean, hey, if they're on the street and he's awake, hey, you got to just roll with the punches. So.
I'm a superstition person to an extent. I mean, I used to do crazy things. I remember in the 7 at halftime, I always vacuum my floor.
And you don't think that's crazy?
I mean,
I
was 12 years old. What? It's crazy now that almost a 31-year-old man, it seems really crazy.
Hey, man,
but now my current superstitions don't work. Because what I used to do, especially in the 2012 run, I would make my Redskin pancakes.
Okay.
I used to make Redskin pancakes.
Okay.
And I used to do a Instagram collage, like that, and it worked. It worked, but until that fateful night in January 6th of 2013, I did it.
But what happened? See, the playoff, it should have switched something up.
I couldn't. I mean, I was on a roll.
Yeah, see.
But
it's a whole new season. Just with me, was it last year? Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
I had a superstition. I had this picture of all of the Eagles, all the starters. It was like a collage picture, and I would tag everyone on the active roster in that picture.
Okay.
And the games that we lost, either I forgot to post it before 12 o'clock, or I would leave a key person off of that post, and we wound up losing. So, I mean, the superstition when it comes to sports, you got to take that stuff serious. Like, you remember the Miller Lite commercials a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah.
It's only weird if it doesn't work. So
Yeah. I don't know, man, but, that's here nor there, man. But what we're going to do, we're going to take a brief time out. When we come back, we'll do a little NBA free agent recap and do a little starting five, talk a little bit free agency.
All right.
We'll be back here on Couch Hoops Live. We're tying the LaMarcus Aldridge thing into it, but was a lot of money.
I just want to know where the money came from. And the thing about it, I'm sitting there looking at it, it's like, did everybody just max out the dollars because of the salary cap is going to change next year?
I think so, and I think that's what everybody's anticipating, the increase in salary cap, because he's something like like I was seeing some guys getting 4, 5, and pretty much running down
everybody
the bill.
Got max contracts.
Everybody.
DeAndre Jordan got $80 million. There's no way I'm paying DeAndre Jordan $80 million. A guy who can't even play in the fourth quarter.
Reggie Jackson got a max contract, looking like Bobby Schmurda at the Summer League the other day.
Who else got a max contract?
Let's see.
Marc Gasol, $115 million.
Marc Gasol. Who else got Kawhi got one.
And I don't see Kawhi Leonard as a max player.
I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me. Who else got a max deal I put on here? But anytime Ed Davis gets $6 million a year, Cal Quinn got $4 million a year. From what did Greg come? Norfolk State. And another, I remember, and it was so funny. It was like
who they beat that year?
They beat Missouri.
Yeah.
In the Chicago region, we got number 2 Missouri versus number 15 ranked Norfolk State, the champions of the MEAC. I love, man, Craig going. That just get me so hyped. Like when Selection Sunday comes, I get extremely hyped.
See, I just don't. I hate Clark Kellogg.
I hit him in 2K. 2K I'd be like, yo, you're redundant. This team did a great job last season. Becoming, it's like, what? And D Wade got a max contract
for 1 year.
For 1 year. Brandon Wright got $6 million a season. It's like, what? Keep getting those checks, nephew.
Who else got money?
Lou Williams got it pretty good. 3 years, $21 million. Who else? Greg Monroe.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who else on this list? And I just feel bad for David West. Like,
he opted out of $12 million.
I was like, son, you gave yourself a huge discount. Like, even Tyson Chandler got a good deal. 4 years, 52. I'm like, gotta get back on y'all. We back here on Couch Coach Live. Do a little recap. As we talked last week, before the end of last week, we did a nice little game where they're going on the heels of the night before the free agent. I forgot what they call it. I guess the talking period where where you can discuss deals and what have you. What is it? I forgot. It was a big word for a torium or something. I forgot. Yeah. Oh, moratorium. Yeah. Moratorium. Yeah, I knew it was gonna come to me. Of course, headlining. We got LaMarcus Aldridge, 4 year, $80 million. Of course, went to the San Antonio Spurs. As we all knew, he was quite wine and dine during last week.
Yeah.
With several visits to various
Canceled on a couple of visits.
And even did he take that second visit to LA? Did he?
He did take that.
Yeah.
He canceled that New York visit to go back to LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Other notes, we had Jimmy Butler, 5 year, $90 million to stay with the Bulls.
I didn't see that coming.
Huh?
I didn't see that coming. Not for that kind of money.
I figured.
I saw like a $1 or $2 million deal.
Yeah.
And he would resign next year when the I guess the salary cap is full swing. So
yeah. Tyson Chandler, 4-year, $52 million. Monte Ellis, a 4-year, $44 million to the Pacers. As we said earlier, Marc Gasol, 5-year, $110 million. Keep getting them checks.
I think the Kevin Love thing surprised me as well.
Kevin Love really surprised me. That was another 5-year, $110 million. What's the Lopez brothers? Brooke, of course, getting 3 years, $60 million, and then Robin also got a 4-year deal.
Paul Millsap, 3 years, $59 million.
Yeah. It's a lot. It was a lot of money going down. And shout out to Ed Davis, the local prospect, Benedictine High School product. 3-year, $20 million, going to Rip City, Portland. Greg Monroe, and 3-year, $80 million. He's going to take his talents to Milwaukee. The land of Laverne and Shirley. And Callow Quinn from, as Greg Gumbel would say, Norfolk State. 4-year, $16 million. Everybody on these message boards are like, that's a steal. It's like, okay. Yeah. You know what? I'll let you think.
Man, Amir Johnson got $12 million a year.
Exactly. Amir Johnson. Folks. And like I said, size is everything in the NBA. I'm telling you, if you are at least 6'10" and above, you're going to get money. Paul Pierce also a 3-year, $10 million deal, going back home, going to the Clippers. Rajon Rondo, 1 year, $10 million, Sacramento. D Wade gets the 1 year max, stays in Miami. David West, he takes a great pay cut, a Karl Malone type pay cut, circa 2004. A 1 year, $1.4 million, which is the veterans minimum. Tarek Williams, 2 years, $10 million to go to the Knicks. My Carolina nephew, Brendan Wright, I did not write a paper for him, but he's got a 3-year, $18 million deal to go to Memphis. Little Bow Wow boy Lou Williams, and your boy from Philly made a cameo appearance in House Party.
Yeah.
3 years, $21 million. And round out your boy Mo Williams,
Going back to
a member of the 2006-2007 NBA Eastern Conference All-Star team. Gone, Mo.
I thought it was so funny when he said he was going back. He tweeted he was going back.
Go back home, yeah.
I'm like, hold up. You ran all your mouth when LeBron said he was leaving.
Exactly.
And now you want to come back. You want to rekindle that old friendship.
Yeah, exactly. I told you, don't burn your bridges, man.
Yeah.
I be telling people, don't burn your bridges. I guess you know what, you can. I guess he just felt like, look, my career going down the toilet now. I'm never going to make an All-Star game. LeBron James is gone. Glory ain't going to be around no more.
Yeah.
Unless Delonte. I'm sorry. But, so, as we got you caught up pretty much, if you were sleeping under a rock with NBA free agents, we kind of got you a little updated. So now we're going to go into our starting lineup where we're going to actually ask 5 questions. Shout out to our research department giving us 5 questions about the NBA free agents. So question number 1 is, what is scratch and move of this free agent period?
I thought it was it's 2 of them. Marc Gasol and Kevin Love. I did not see them getting the max dollars. To me, they're not. When you give a player a max contract, that means your team can't survive without them. And with Marc Gasol, I understand he anchors the defense, but the person who makes that team go is Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph and Mike Conley. Those are the 2 pieces that you have to have. Marc Gasol, you look like he can be replaced, and not to take anything away from his skill set, because it's hard to find a guy who can anchor your defense and he's effective on the offensive side of the ball. But the Kevin Love situation was now you've got everything in limbo because of Kevin Love, where Tristan Thompson said he might not sign that contract, and then LeBron said he's not going to sign until Tristan Thompson is straight. So you saw that you can win without Kevin Love. So why put all your resources in that? That you need to make sure that you can
get them two.
Yeah, and then you saw the whole report about the Joe Johnson trade, where now you're gonna trade Brendan Haywood and possibly Virgil for Joe Johnson. So now that's more money that you bringing in. And first of all, Brendan Haywood makes $10 million a year. I don't know why.
I'm telling you, my Carolina boys get money, dog. Keep getting them.
The only class that they took was probably finance, but.
Meet me at the bank. We ain't worrying about any of this stuff. Meet me at the bank.
But it's just like, why would you allocate all of that money? Like Memphis, you saw what they need in the Western Conference. You need perimeter players.
Yeah.
The game is getting so much more fast paced in the West because you've got those hybrid guards, Curry's and Westbrook's, Chris Paul's,
D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, I mean you got all of that stuff. So the big man is transitioning out of that. You just need an effective post player.
Yeah.
But to spend what 25, 30 million on one player? No, it's not happening. It's gone. I just didn't think it was necessary.
And my biggest head scratch, I think, just the New York Knicks' inability to get prime free agents, as I wouldn't say I think they were going to get, but to me, this shows you of just how the train of thought of athletes have changed. Because a lot of people, you would think New York City, I'm in a big market, whatever. But now you're looking at the way the NBA is so diverse and it's such a different. You can make money playing for Portland or playing in Milwaukee.
At the same time, I know that because New York has already been burned in the past by just taking the top tier free agent of that class, where it was. Whatever free agent was out there this year, that wasn't the piece that's going to get you to a championship.
Yeah.
It's going to be next year's class that's more enticing to go spend that money for. So you kind of have to see. You don't and I hate to throw your guy Dan Snyder because he does this an awful lot. Jerry Jones used to do it in the past. Take that top prize free agent, throw all the money in it you can, and your team is still several pieces away from building a contender. So I think you have to pick and choose when you want to make that splash in free agency.
That's true. But then you got to think about it. You still do have the cupboard isn't completely bare. You still have a Carmelo Anthony. Chef. You have, you have something there to build upon.
Yeah. So, and like next year, Andre Bargnani comes off of the books. So
finally,
you got 20 million.
They should have never got from anyway.
Nah, yeah,
that was
never.
Dumb.
And so like you free up 20 million there. So I mean, you take a run at Kevin Durant. He's the top prize in next year's class. So I just think it was just smart. Don't spend all your money where you didn't need to because next year's class is going to be so much better. So
yeah. Also, question number 2: which team is having the best free agent period? I think that's everybody's a no-brainer. But
San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, I think we both agree in unison. I mean, they got the pieces in place, and they've added size, they added depth, they've added veteran leadership as well.
The one thing I do think that they should have did, they should have addressed the backcourt more, just by Tony Parker and Ginobili both.
Because they're getting older.
Yeah, so a young star somewhere could have fit in there. I'm not too sure who you could have used, but.
And it's still not too late for them to somewhat shore that up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like. And I think we'll talk about that later on.
JR, we can get JR.
Nah. It's not enough Hennessy in Texas.
Now look, I'm trying to find a home for JR, man. JR need to go somewhere.
He's probably going back to China.
No, don't do that. If he do, he gonna blow the league up. Shoot, he gonna have a statue next to Stephon Marbury. What?
Because I don't see nobody to.
Yeah.
It's going to be a desperate team to try to pick him up because then you have to have that stronghold coach that's going to reel him in, and I don't think he's mature enough to handle that. Yeah. Where he's going to, fight back with one of the coaches like you saw how he did with George Karl. It was just like enough was enough or something. He just couldn't deal with some of that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. I think we both agree with San Antonio, and even I was gonna say I do a 1A, but then LeBron James hasn't been signed yet.
Yeah.
Which, like we said, the drama continues. Like to me, like you said, why is this? Why is this public? Why does it have to be publicly known that you let and then to me it's just like if I'm Cleveland, I'm not nervous, but I'm just like, come on, like really, dude?
We have to go through this again?
Yeah, I mean, and that's my thing. It's like, really, like seriously, like I gotta wait for you to sign, like for Tristan Thompson to sign. Like,
so what happened if Tristan Thompson doesn't sign?
then where you going?
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
you going to Knicks?
Yeah.
What's your best friend? Or you going to Clippers with your godfather, with your son's godfather? What? You want me Cliff Paul, Chris Paul, and LeBron James?
Yeah, it's just unnecessary drama. I mean, like the ratings are over, dude. Like the fact you don't need, no one's tuning in anymore. You can't have a decision part 2 because your legacy will be tarnished by that.
Yeah, and my thing is just what he's doing now is pretty much holding
the franchise
hostage, and he's doing that, which and people will say that's a good thing to do, but you can do that privately.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I don't need to hear Brian Windhorst or Chris Broussard reporting these daily updates about, well, you're gonna wait for one person to sign, and today I'm gonna let Tristan sign, I'm gonna let Matthew Dellavedova sign tomorrow, and well, I'm gonna be in a remote island, I don't want to hear that.
No,
like,
I gotta get up and go to work every day.
Hello, exactly. And like, you know what? I just hope the Cleveland they move like the Browns did. Moved to Las Vegas.
Well, what's Mayflower Moving Company?
Exactly. Exactly. Please do that. But they petty. So funny because I know we totally off the cusp, but it makes me feel like Cleveland. I've lost respect for Cleveland when Art Modell died a few years back, and people were still still talking negative. I was like, this man is dead, man. Like, why are we still talking about a movie that he did like 18 years? At that time it was 18 years because he died in 2012. Yeah. So that would have been 17 years back. But anyway, question number 3: which team is having the worst free agent period?
That would be the Philadelphia 76ers.
I mean, Nick Starkis.
They signed no one. They traded for Nick Starkis. They have signed no one.
Yeah, but I'm saying.
And
I mean, who want to go there?
I mean, you have to do something. Like, you can throw money at somebody.
Throw it at Kobe next year.
Yeah.
Y'all save your eggs for Kobe next year.
Come on, man. Like, no,
be like Whitney Houston, saving my love for Kobe Bryant. Pause. Come on, let's do this tonight. You know what? Let's launch the Kobe to Philadelphia campaign. Kobe in 2016.
I would love to see it, but it's just like you didn't even get a mid-level free agent to come. No. It's sad because now you got a team full of players with 2 to 3 years experience. Jason Richardson is the most experienced player on that team, so
quit it.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So like,
man, y'all need to sign back KJ McDaniels, man.
Well, I think New York was trying to get him.
Man, I would want him to come to Chicago.
But
anyway,
that's just what you're dealing with. I mean, and the problem with Philadelphia is they don't have a practice facility. They're the only NBA team without a practice facility. Yeah. You can't draw in free agents without that. I mean, the plan to build it is in 2016, 2017. Yeah. But until then, you can't attract a veteran free agent. I mean, you're gonna have that good young core, but you still need to bring in someone else. It's not like football where you have 7 draft picks. Where you can build a team that way. You have to build through free agency in the NBA. So it's that one next piece that's sitting out there that you're going to have to pay for. So you can't expect everybody from college to build your roster. You have to have that veteran leadership.
I mean, they can practice at Villanova. But anyway, and then I really didn't think about Philly in that grand scheme of things. I say Sacramento. I mean, getting a guy like Ray John Randall, which I think...
I mean, they got him for 1 year, so...
Yeah, I know. But still, you got him for 1 year, but why even get him for 1 year? I mean, because to me, I don't think he's going to get along with George Karl. Yeah. Then I don't know what's going to happen. I don't see... This is like the most confusing puzzle that there is. If he can't get along with Rick Carlisle, which everybody loves Rick Carlisle. Yeah. Everybody loves him.
But George Karl gives a lot of players too much freedom. Yeah. Because he used to let Kenyon Martin just shoot a 3 a game. He
shout out to Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, who retired this week. So
we definitely talk about that.
And then he had this rule for Melo was if you got took 10 shots in the post, got to the free throw line 10 times, then he would excuse him to shoot 10 3-pointers. So he's probably gonna give Rondo a lot of free range to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Because George Karl likes that point guard that can run the team without somebody having to call a play. You saw how he operated with Gary Payton in Seattle. Then he took that same philosophy when Gary Payton went to Milwaukee. And even when George Karl was in Denver, he had a player coach in Chauncey. Then they pushed Chauncey out. Then they let Tyler
Lawson, my other nephew.
Yeah, Raymond Felton was there for a year too.
Yeah,
so I mean,
he sure was.
So it's all the same type of thing. He values that experienced point guard.
Yeah, and during that short period of time in Denver, he did not have possession of guns. we'll put that on the record. Question number 4: which player made the worst decision during the free agent period?
I would say Greg Monroe.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I kind of like what Jason Kidd is building down in Milwaukee.
No, I take that back. DeMar Carroll going to Toronto.
Toronto, don't do that.
I don't want Drake to come at me, but
he'll come.
DeMar Carroll probably could have made a lot more money in other places going to Toronto. I mean, you look at some of the places that some of these players go. Like DeMar Carroll started in Dallas, then he went to Atlanta. Now he's in Toronto. So you kind of you thought he was in the fair weather area, then he just goes beyond that and picks a cold city state to play basketball in.
And this might because you've been preaching the homecoming aspect of the free agent period, especially during last week's episode. I say Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
I think going to LA is especially for that type of situation where they're not going to be a championship caliber team, especially in the Western Conference,
Yeah, I mean, because they lost on the whole thing with DeMarcus, DeAndre Jordan. That was the biggest thing. I was like, they didn't replace him with anybody.
Exactly.
So it's like, what direction are they going to try to go into?
They should have got Ed Davis. What? Anyway, all right. They could have got. I mean, they could have exactly. They haven't found a replacement for him, which is just like.
What are they gonna do? They'll probably pick up Kendrick Perkins or something like that. Some
yeah.
mid level. He can play back with Doc Rivers.
Yeah, and who's next? Brian Scalabrine.
Headband, Jackie Moon.
I mean, it's a possibility. And to round out this week's starting 5, which player made the best decision during the free agent period?
Kevin Love and Marcus Gasol. They're gonna throw that kind of money out. You take it.
Yeah. Because to me, which I can, I said LaMarcus Aldridge. I think what his career can possibly be.
Yeah.
With him just being, 29.
And that's all dependent upon how long Popovich stays.
True.
Because I think once he leaves, that team is pretty much going to go downhill because he's the captain that runs that ship. Because if you look at so many of the Greg Popovich, the coaching tree, no one is relatively successful outside of him. It's like
Budenholzer is getting there.
Yeah, but
Budenholzer, Mike, they've had a lot of good regular season success. You're looking at like Mike Brown.
Yeah.
You're looking at
But to me, I don't think Mike Brown has a clue how to coach. He just been blessed to be on a talented team. He just
talent-rich team.
Yeah, so that really wasn't anything. Like when you saw him actually have to coach, it got.
But he got
exposed.
That first year after LeBron James,
even when he had LeBron.
When the Lakers, he got a raw deal then because he got 5-6 games in.
After the second season.
After the second season, yeah. Which I'm like, y'all should just fired him at the end of the regular season that year.
Yeah, but
and then the year before LeBron came,
he's just not a good coach. Like some people aren't meant to be head coaches, and then that's what. I understand everybody wants that moment in the spotlight to say that they can prove that they can do this and do that, but it's not everybody's calling to be the guy, to be that guy. It's just you look at the Phil Jackson disciples. It's
Steve Kerr.
Yeah, you got Steve Kerr, and then
who knows who's coming down the turnpike?
Yeah, and then what's that? Brian Shaw. You look at all these guys. It just.
But Denver, I can't count Denver because Denver.
Well, the thing with Brian Shaw, I think he missed out on a lot of other coaches that he should have had.
Yeah, and to me, I think that, and then even Phil Jackson tree is going to get a little better because you're looking at. I think a guy like Tyronn Lue is going to be.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna.
But is he a member of the Phil Jackson tree or the Doc Rivers tree?
A little bit of both. That's almost just like how you look at Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr is like a hybrid.
Yeah.
Of a Phil Jackson and a Steve Kerr. And I mean, everybody's under that Phil umbrella. Brother's doing okay, you know.
Except for Derek Fisher.
I mean, I don't count that because the cupboard is dry. Like I can't, I can't, you can't expect me to make a 5-star meal and I don't have no food in the groceries.
Yeah.
I mean, in the refrigerator. So I don't know. Who knows? But here's the hit on that because I know we always gonna have that balance of Steve Kerr he already had a good team, but he elevated them to a level that they've never been there before.
Yeah, they
give him credit.
Into the second round, and that's it. I mean, like I said, he did a great job as far as coaching adjustments. I mean, you can't. That's something that's not.
I mean, it kind of reminded me of how Phil was.
Yeah.
I mean, just
I mean, but Steve Kerr learned from Pop and Phil.
Phil, and Mike, and Mike D'Antoni. No, let me stop. No, he was there when that too, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is, And then that's one thing with him. He went through the ranks as well as everybody else.
Yeah.
Because he had that same type of style in Phoenix, but he just didn't have the personnel that Because God, just imagine if he would have had Draymond Green back then in Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like I think when he was in Phoenix, he had players that were on the decline of their prime, and with Golden State, these same players are entering their prime.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of somebody who was past their prime, how you know who y'all should get?
Who's that?
Amari Sotomayor.
Yeah,
you need a veteran. You need a veteran.
He was gonna go.
You need some veteran.
They were talking about him going to San Antonio.
Wow.
But David West went, so
y'all need some veteran leadership. But bring Kobe back next year. Kobe 2016.
I'm gonna go for that.
We're gonna do that. Well, I think we're gonna launch a logo. We're gonna do a lot of stuff.
I'll do that. Then because Kobe.
Because that would be kind of cool. That would be. But I just think he gonna rub people the wrong way.
No. I used to really had a dis-hatred for Kobe. I really did, but it's just like the older I got, the more I watched him, the more I respect him.
It's more you respect him because you understand, what it is.
But I would never, ever respect LeBron. It's just not gonna happen.
I mean, I see no deal. I mean, he can play, but yeah. But we're gonna take a brief time out. We come back. We're gonna do our fair foul. We're gonna talk about a couple things. We're gonna talk about. Going to the NBA, we'll do another kind of an NBA type of fair foul.
Okay.
When we come back, this is Couch Coach Live. But I don't know, man. But this whole drama, this whole drama and saga with LeBron, it's kind of getting on my nerves. It is. It's like I would get sick and tired of it. Like, yo. We'll be back. Back here on Couch Coach Live. Second half of Couch Coach Live is getting ready to start. But yeah, that is very, very interesting to be, as far as the whole free agency and all this money that's being doled out, and this guy's getting money. So, all right. So we can talk fair or foul topic. Of course, it has to have a red skin flavor, like I like to have it every week. So definitely got to give a shout out to one of the best safeties on the Washington Redskins, the Washington Redskins football franchise.
One of the best safeties.
Duke. Look, there are people who are listening to this show and who will be listening to it in various forms, and I want to get my Redskin Nation a little hype. We got to drum up some support. When you're coming off a 4-12 season, it's no way but going up.
No.
I mean, look.
You could be Jacksonville.
No, we don't want to be Jacksonville. Jacksonville's in the cellar. But so Duke and Nacho, of course, he took as many athletes, they take to Twitter when it comes to social issues of note. And as we talked about during the first hour of Couch Coach Live, we talked about all the money that was pretty much doled as far as towards contracts. And for the first 17 hours, the league free agent moratorium period opened. And, of course, players did get new and huge contracts, which, and of course they have guaranteed money, unlike the guys in the NFL. So this was Nacho's take. All this guaranteed money NBA throwing. Meanwhile, the NFL, which generates the most money, won't even make the league minimum $1 million. Yes, $1 million minimum. That means every player's salary in the NFL should start there. Highest risk of injury, brain trauma, in richest league. No security in football, obviously, unless you hit the lick. Okay, son.
Bad choice of words on that one, but okay.
Yeah. Don't get arrested. The whole there are too many players in the NFL to play that much argument doesn't hold up. The league is more than capable. We have players don't even speak our own opinions on this because we don't want to be fined or punished or whatever. But most of us feel this way. If you don't like it, find a new job. I hate when people say that. Quit instead of fighting for a change. That solves nothing. End quote. So these are his series of tweets. So do you agree with him as far as changing the minimum of $1 million?
Well, I do. And like the whole thing that the biggest problem that I see with the pay is that for an NBA team, you only have to pay out, 15 players?
15 players, yeah.
Whereas an NFL team, you have to pay out 44 on game days because
you can have
45 on that game.
9 on the injured reserve.
Yeah, no, it's not. You can have
9 on the practice squad.
8 on the practice squad, but you can only dress 45 on game day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that money has to get divided up somewhere. The biggest issue that I see with the two sports is that football is the only sport where the contract isn't guaranteed.
Yeah. And
it's like, when you see players hold out, the owners get mad. When you sign the contract, you're gonna need to honor the contract. But you sign a 5-6 year deal, but your guaranteed money is only paid through the first 3 years. So guess what happens in year 4 when they feel like you make too much money? They cut you. If you don't restructure, they cut you. So, I mean, you got to hold both ends of the spectrum where if you want me to honor this contract, you should as well. Yeah. Don't cut me just because you feel like I've hit that, that peak where I'm not as good as a service to you anymore. Because, you take into consideration Grant Hill. He signed a 5-year deal for Orlando, and he barely played 100 games throughout that course of that 5 years, but yet saw every dollar through that contract. Yeah. So, I do have a problem with that. Like, Larry Johnson was the same way. He signed a 6-year deal with New York and retired halfway through that deal. So those kind of instances, I can see how players get frustrated at that because it's not fair where the league minimum is under $1 million. I mean, it is the the most ferocious of all the sports. I mean, it's the most physical, and you do put yourself at higher risk. Where you look at a boxer, yeah, they can suffer from head trauma, but how many boxers really get hit anymore? They're all moving out of the way. They're not getting hit, and they make, like they said, Floyd Mayweather's payday for the last fight totals more than what Tim Duncan has made in that 19-year NBA career.
Yeah, and as we talked earlier about, we talked, matter of fact, last week about the state of boxing. It's just, it shows you of how the disparity in pay. And I think for the sake of the argument, I say that it's in a sense it's foul, and I think it's just due to the fact that they need to just have a stronger union. Yeah. They have to really step up and because there's a lot of stuff that could have been addressed in 2011, but everybody was so quick to buy in without like the whole suspension thing, like everything, like you need to have and I understand like DeMaurice Smith, he can do this, that, and the third, but y'all literally need to sit down with him. Talk about certain things that you want. Yeah.
The thing that I think is wrong with the players' union as far as the sports, like you looked at last year, the head of the players' union on the players' level was Eric Winston, who was a free agent for the whole year. Yeah. What is he doing? He's more or less trying to make sure he has a job with someone rather than make sure that everybody else is taken care of.
And you need somebody who's a little bit more stable in their contract.
And I think that the players' reps that they need for the teams need to be starters, not just a stable figure with the organization. Like you look at the NBA, the head of the players union is Chris Paul and LeBron James. Yeah. Two marquee players. Whereas in the NFL, the highest rated player that they have is Drew Brees on the players union.
Who's on the decline.
Yeah, so you need someone who is more of a face of the league than anything to represent the players. And you looked at it like during the last lockout for the NBA, like you had a lot of players that were upset because this is when Derek Fisher was the head of the players union. And Jerry Stackhouse made a comment. He said, I don't want him negotiating my contract. He doesn't even negotiate his own contract. He has an agent who does that. So and I think when you look at that train of thought coming from your peers, the same problems that he has are the same problems that everyone else should have as well. So you can't just pick this one guy, all right, he's going to speak for us and then that's it. Because in some cases, in point, they're only going to look out for themselves because that's all you have to do in this world. You're going to look out for yourself. You're not looking about the next man. Yeah. And that's your family are taken care of.
And then you can't really go to those guys like you said, and especially in the NFL level when you got like an Eric Winston who, in a sense, I mean, he's not a anchor in a sense as far as on the offensive line. Like you get somebody, and we'll just throw it out there, like a Tom. Well.
You can use Tom Brady.
We can do Tom Brady. Or like Peyton Manning would be perfect.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers. Like those type of guys can go into a negotiating room and be like, you know what, give us this, that, and the third. Because they're going to command more because, okay, if you see these superstars at the forefront, these are the ones who put butts in seats, put butts on couches on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, who drive the needle, and the ones who put the butts in the seats and and fill the cups of nachos and popcorn and
like I do think for the NFL, the players union, they need some of the more vocal players. Yeah. I would say like put Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman on there. You need at least two players
that who are the face of the league and they have bargaining power more than anybody else. Yeah. Because get somebody who is extremely popular where they can lead a union to a point where, if they can go to the table and be like, you know what, this, that, and the third, and they're like, well, you know what, look at what happened when we played, like if it was Peyton Manning. You're gonna miss out me playing Tom Brady once a year. You know, your Sunday Night Football. You're gonna generate a 10 or 14, rating on a Sunday in October. Yeah. Like you want to miss that? Yeah. I mean, versus Eric Winston, which is gonna be like, you know what can he really bring to the table versus?
I just want to make sure everybody plays football. Like, no, you need to. If you have star power in the league, you need to maximize that.
Your potential.
Yeah, and it's like you take your franchise quarterbacks and you put them at that negotiating table against the owners. So if you're telling me I'm your star player, your star quarterback, your $100 million quarterback, you're not gonna make me happy. Guess what happens at the end of my contract? I'm going. because you didn't take the time to listen to me here. I'm not gonna listen to you behind that closed door in your office.
And as far as in negotiation and stuff, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna turn a blind eye to how you during a certain point of my career. And that's that's what they have to do. And it's the same thing goes with them. That's the thing I hate with them, and it goes a lot of how society is in a sense. We have more power than we think that we do. Yeah. As far as like, and it's almost like it's just like everything else. You have a democratic type of situation where you have the power to vote for certain things, and to exercise your right for certain things and stuff. And the same thing go for them. This is what y'all. If you want this just like everybody else, then guess what? The next collective bargaining agreement, you put this on the table.
Yep, because it's like, like Roddy White has a strong disdain against Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
But yet he's not his team's player rep. Matt Ryan is. And if you look at the two personalities, Roddy White wants to be hurt. Matt Ryan's just going to be, okay, well, as long as I don't shake any feathers.
And that's how people, and they're like kind of scared. Because like you said, you're going to have, they're so scared of the repercussions of speaking their mind because they're thinking that, well, I'm going to get fined, I'm going to get suspended.
But if you're in that position of power, then you can't be in trouble for that because that's what you're paid to do.
And that's what you guys need to fight for.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if I say, look, whatever I say, it's a First Amendment right. Yeah. Can I exercise my First Amendment to free speech without being suspended?
If Company A tells me they're going to pay me X amount of millions of dollars to wear their product while I walk to the game, but because it's not an NFL sanctioned product, you have to block that out. So, like with the whole thing with the Bose headphones and the Beats by Dre headphones. You got Beats paying Colin Kaepernick millions of dollars, but yet he has to block out the logo when he walks through the tunnel. Or he'll be fined more. He's going to get fined, what, $15,000, $20,000?
Yeah.
And it's less than what he's going to make.
It makes no sense.
So why not? Do it anyway. But then you get the stigmatism throughout the league that, he's this disrespectful player. He won't play by the rules and things like that.
And that's one thing I hated how people were saying that. And I'm thinking to myself, he's just wearing headphones. Yeah. Like, he's just wearing... And there was like, well, he should be aware of the code. It's not aware about being the code. It is... Like, in his case, in his own aspect... He signed a contract with this company, and he has to wear that. Yeah. That's just like everything else. If he's been contracted to do that,
it's just like a couple of years ago. You remember when Reggie Bush signed a deal with Adidas?
Yeah.
But the NFL had the rule where everything had to be Reebok, and then he said no. He wore like an Adidas wristband or whatnot just to advertise the product, and Adidas said, you know what, we're gonna pay for the fine, and you're gonna keep wearing it.
Yeah.
And I had no problem with them doing that because they want their product to be out there.
Yeah.
So you pay for his loss. I mean, ultimately, they got tired of paying. They said, you just wear the shoes and we'll take away.
Yeah, and that's what these guys need to come up at the table and be like, look, we are like, especially in the NFL, we are our own CEOs. Yeah. We need to have the right to have our own type of product and our own merchandise so we can make money off of this as well. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's going to be your and unfortunately, that's your most guaranteed money. Like, you look at a guy like Rob Gronkowski. He said he as far as how he lives is pretty much on his endorsements. Yeah. Like, he hasn't even spent his NFL money. Yeah. He said he's pretty much living off of his endorsements.
I mean, that's how it should be. Like, that's which you worked hard to do that. Like the whole Marshawn Lynch thing. Like, why are you finding him? First of all, you make him talk to the media, which he doesn't want to do. Yeah. And then you find him for wearing his own brand. That's stupid. To me, that sounds like a dictatorship. It's almost like Roger Goodell has the same mentality that David Stern once had. Yeah. Either you're going to follow my rules or you're not. And it's like there's no freedom of choice, freedom of speech in anything that they do. And at the same time, these guys are adults. They're human beings. They're not puppets. They're not children that you have to walk around and tell them what to do. So,
yeah. And that's one thing is the NFL is like, you've created this monster. Yeah. You became this big product, and of course, people are going to cash in due to the players because the players move the needle. Yeah. I mean, there's no question about it. So, I mean, I just say you guys need to sit at the table at the next go round and be smart about it. Say it.
You can't.
But yeah. So we're going on to the next topic here. So the Portland Trailblazers have fired assistant head coach Kim Hughes. General manager Neil Olshey reported to the Organian that we have confirmed that Mr. Hughes is no longer with the team. It is our policy to otherwise refrain from commenting on personal matters. And this all stems from an interview that was taped on June 27th where Hughes told WHTI-TV in Indiana that LaMarcus Aldridge would be leaving the team. He said, and I quote, "People don't realize we just went young. We didn't publicize it, but we lost LaMarcus Aldridge. It has not been declared yet, but I'm sure he won't come back. We will go young, and we will depend on Myers Leonard to play a lot of minutes." End quote. And that quote got him fired.
I mean, it's just speaking the truth. I mean, it's like if you don't want him to say anything, then that means you should have a gag order in place.
But to me, yeah, that's why. And my thing, I definitely think this is foul because I mean, I think everybody knew that this was going to happen. I mean,
but he didn't resign last year, so you knew he was.
Yeah.
And it's not like in football you can just sign a franchise tag and keep him around.
Keep him for what? Because you can do it. You put on a tag 2 years. 2 years. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, look. I mean, that ain't really. It's no big. Yeah. It's no big deal. I mean, he probably already told y'all I won't. Yeah. I mean, he pretty much. I mean, he may not have even. You know, you could just dictate his moves. Dictate that he wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, and then once you gave Damian Lillard all the money, you knew what he wasn't going to get a max deal. So
yeah, so I was like, look, I got to go. Yeah. You know, I want to win championships.
Yep. So I mean, it's definitely foul. I mean, because like the writing's on the wall a lot of times, more than not. I mean, it's just I understand you don't want that kind of public knowledge out in the media, especially with free agency about to start, because you got players. The players talk, so there's like, okay, if he's leaving, why is he leaving? Why should I sign if he's leaving?
Yeah.
And so I guess they didn't want that kind of public knowledge out there. But then you also have to make sure that your employees are in order too. Like if you don't want them releasing that kind of information, then you tell them don't release this kind of information.
That's all sign a gag order.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like, you know what?
Especially concerning like contracts and player status. That's the only time I think that stuff should be in order.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, and I mean for him to get fired is just very unfortunate, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, we can take a brief time out. When we come back, we're gonna do our State of the Union Summer Series. This week we're gonna touch on should an age limit be enforced in college basketball / NBA. So what we do is take a brief time out. We'll come back. We'll dive into that. And this is Couch Coach Live. summer State of the Union this week topic. Should there be an age limit enforced in NBA/college basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, like if you look at the years before this whole one and done thing, even before the high school phenomenon took over, like you look at, like I said, the 90s when you had like your college seniors actually staying 4 years. They were 4-year stars and they came to college, and then they came to the NBA and they would impact players from the get-go. Now you look at the draft, you've got like maybe 5 players out of the first round that make a dramatic impact on your team. Other guys are just sitting there. They got to wait 3 years till their body finishes to develop. Then they can take over a starter role. I mean, it's just, it messes up basketball. Like you look at college, when you had those seniors and juniors playing, like the NCAA tournament was so much better because it's like you got to see these players grow, and now you just see him one time. Oh, this is the only time he's ever gonna play UNC. This is the only time he's gonna play Duke. Won't see him anymore. Yep. And it's just, I think it's better for the NBA as a whole because, and I think that the limit should be at 21, just like football. Because at 21 you should be well equipped to handle $1 million contract. Yeah. So, and then they should put something in there where, all right, so they can't do the Brandon Jennings and Emmanuel Mudiay where I'm just gonna go overseas till I'm eligible. Like, no, if you go overseas, then you forfeit that eligibility, and you should make them wait 3 years. I mean, it's just to make the game better because then you won't see these guys just sitting in there because there's no way that a lottery pick should ever be sent down to the D League. The D League, I think, should be for your second round picks or your later first round picks that are on that team that just can't catch the concept of the NBA basketball. Like the game may be too fast, but never a top 10 pick should be sitting in the D League. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I agree with it, but now I kind of want to. I thought about this kind of pretty heavy in the past couple of years or whatever. I think what you should do. This is my solution. For the one and dones, this is what I want you to do for the kids. That's what I want. This is my thing. If you are a high school senior and you want to make a splash in the NBA, and as far as you have to at least be in college for 2 years. The minimum is 2 years. If you don't want to go to college, you go to the D League for a year.
I say 2 years. Make them go 2 years.
Well, then that would defeat the purpose of going to college because you can go to college for 2 years versus the D League. Kind of give them a point where okay, I have to make a decision because when you do it like that, it's like a no-brainer. I just go to college.
Yeah.
Versus if you're a high school senior and you want to come out, this is for the one and dones, guys who want to just I want to do it for 1 year and to come out. You go to the D League, you play for 1 year. If you sign a college letter of intent, you have to be there at least 2 years. For 2 reasons. First, for the D League, this is going to help those, I call it the one and done type of guys, because this will give them a great grasp of playing in multiple cities, playing in some semi-longer season. It's going to give them a chance to develop their skills. Almost kind of like almost like a PJ Harrison type situation where he went, and even though this don't, he didn't go because of my imposed thing I want to do. It helps preserve college basketball in that way for me.
Yeah.
The 2 years going to school, that helps because you look at a team like, just imagine like a Duke team. If my rule was in play, then you think, well, wow, I'm gonna have these 2 guys. I'm gonna have Justice Winslow. I said Mecca. Jaleel Okafor, and Justice and Tyus. They all coming back next year, and then
this team would have had that Duke team would have had Jabari Parker and Rodney Hood as well. So
exactly, yeah. Who's whistling away in Utah?
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's what and this is what helps with them because this gets them ready because sometimes you gotta think back to yourself, the 19-year-old you.
Yeah.
Like, could you really imagine going from being in high school a year ago and then stepping into an NBA where it's a whole different world?
That's why I say the 3 years, because you look at some of those high school players that went straight to the league. Yeah. Kwame Brown, probably a bad example. But,
Yeah.
you take Tyson Chandler
Well,
and
yeah.
but look at when they became staples of teams, when they got older, right around that 21 to 22.
Yeah.
Once they hit their fourth year in the league,
Yeah.
they were accustomed. They were national starters in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
you knew what they were capable of, as opposed to them being 19. Like, as you looked at 19, they had Tyson Chandler pegged as a small forward, which is highly impossible.
And then even with that, like it's funny because I listened to NBA TV this week. I was watching a little bit of Summer League, and Greg Anthony was talking about how it was just amazing how Tyson Chandler at his age, that work ethic, he had a great work ethic, but with him just being at that particular age, it's hard to do that. And you gotta look at these guys. Have their body suggests they're NBA ready, but their mind is NBA ready. So that's why I say, if you are one of those type one and done type of guys, you go to the D League to an extent where it prepares you to your next step where you're going next year. Because I think those one and done, it's a horrible misconception of how your life is going to be the next year. Because I mean, in college, you're only playing, even if you get to the Final Four, no more than like 40 games versus the NBA, you're playing 82 regular season games, and then if your team makes it to the playoffs, that's 90 or 100 some games.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get it's hard to as a 19-year-old kid to grasp those concepts of being in having 5 games and 7 nights and that type of concept versus the D League, even though their schedule isn't like that, but it kind of gets you in that type of preparation because with Duke, Carolina, respectively, you're playing pretty much teams that are in the state of North Carolina, Virginia. I mean, you might go south to Florida. In your case, you go to New York and play St. John's a couple times here and there. You don't really go across the country until March during the tournaments and what have you.
And I just think like 21 would be the age, just because, all right, here you got this kid, he's 21. Well, even if he's 19, you give him $1 million. And what's going to happen is the same things with the DeAndre Johnson situation. You got a 19-year-old kid in a bar, okay? He's a millionaire. You're not going to tell this millionaire, you can't come in my club. No, he's not going to do that. Yeah. He's going to give him the king's treatment. He's going to sit him in the VIP section. He's going to give him all kind of bottles or whatnot. And then guess what? He leaves that club, now he's in trouble.
Exactly. And then,
so that's why you have to have that. Give them that kind of situation as an adult.
And even with that can happen even in college.
Yeah.
That thing can happen. That can happen in college too.
But they're not at a millionaire. They don't have a millionaire mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you give them at 21, that's all right. Now you signed. Now you're an adult.
Yeah.
Because now you can legally do this. You can do that. You can't even rent a car by yourself at 19, 20 years old.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned it the hard way.
Yeah. See, so
y'all did it.
So I mean, it's just that 21. I think that's the point when you set yourself. And I agree with the D League. But the thing about it is now you're going to overflood the D League because you're going to have all these players that think they're better than what they are.
But it's a great way to humble them, in a sense, because when you think about even the one and done thing, I just don't like that. Like you said, I don't like of how there's such a revolving door in college basketball where it's like it's hard to get to know. That's why I almost like when we talk, when we was telling you how I like Carolina like on a national scale, but like I seen like University of Richmond where I know those guys are going to stay for 4 years. Well, you kind of get to know those type of guys, and it's good to see. Okay, well, I remember following this guy as a freshman, and then seeing him at senior night 4 years later. It's like, God, just imagine, look how he's developed, and those type of things that I like, and it's just a traditional way of, and it kind of give you kind of somewhat hope for the next season.
Yeah, because you look at some of the later Coach K teams, like the 2010, 2011 team. Yeah. John Shire, Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler, Zubac,
Nolan Smith,
Lance Thomas. Those are all juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
So I mean, you saw that team come together, and it was like, I think that's missing in college basketball. You don't have those guys coming back. All right, you know what? We're gonna win this back to back. Yeah. You win a national championship. There is no more such thing as a back to back.
Yeah, because it's like I call it the Carmelo syndrome. Yeah. If you win a championship as a freshman, it's like ain't no need for you to come back. Yeah. And to me, that's why I like that whole. That's like you said, there is going to be a oversaturation of D League players, but I'd rather have that didn't have that revolving door.
Look at guys like I'll take Langston Galloway. He was a guy who needed the D League.
Yeah,
he wasn't NBA ready, but the D League was there to help him hone some of his skills. But then you got these guys with they do have the first round talent, but they're not ready.
Yeah, and And I think that's going to get the guys ready, because it's I just can imagine, like, and we both can attest to this, as it's now at 31. I couldn't imagine somebody throwing $1 million at me at 19 years old.
Yeah, it's
like just that's the year I learned how to drive.
Yeah, so
like that was, I mean, and I'm glad that happened to me, because I had some level of maturity at that time. But I just, that's almost just like getting a car at 16 and getting a $1 million contract at 19.
Yeah. So my thing is, like, if it's good enough for the NFL, then it should be perfect enough for the NBA. I mean, even when you look at baseball, you could draft these guys straight out of high school, but you don't. You send them to your farm league, But then there should be levels of that the D League. It should be levels in consideration. Like, you got your single A, triple A, double A ball. That's how it should be as far as the NBA. So that way you don't overflood that talent pool.
And what you can do, like, because I know how some teams have an affiliation of certain teams.
Well, the D League, they share teams.
But you're going to be placed in, like, some type of... I say we'll make up maybe, like, 5 or 6 more teams to even it out, and people get from that type of crop of players. Because to me, it's like, I think that's the ultimate solution, because I think if you sign a letter of intent, I want you to be there at least 2 years. I want you to at least be a sophomore in college. I want to be to a fact, if my team... If we lose in the Sweet 16 and they think, well, we got everybody coming back. I mean, we got a freshman laden team. We got a junior this year. We got at least we got our core coming back, and it just gives you a little optimism. And plus, it's just a tradition that we did, and I think it will help the league out a whole lot better. And
I just think it'll help a lot of these players for life after their sports, because if you give them 21, it was like, all right, well, I'd have stayed 3 years. I might as well come back for my senior year. Let them graduate.
Yeah.
You don't even see these guys graduate anymore, because college is such a far-fetched idea for them that they leave at 19, don't even attempt to think about going back to school.
Exactly.
Whereas you got some of those players, like probably who's Damian Lillard, Vince Carter, they only had 1 more year to do, so hey, 1 more year they got them their college degree.
Yeah. And then it's just like, and that's what I'm saying. That's what hurts the whole academic process in my eye about this, because, like, okay, you're gonna go to school for 1 semester, then you're gonna drop out once the spring comes, and then it's just like boom,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wasting university time, because they love that,
but you're wasting their time and money.
But of course they're gonna get a lion's share. They're getting the money, and I think that's why I think what we're discussing will never stick, because I think they market off those one and done type of guys.
Yeah. Because
to me, they look at it from a money standpoint, where it's just oh yeah, let's Duke has one of the top top freshman prospects coming in this year. Well, Duke fans are gonna love that, because they can see this. It's almost like it's like a show, like a little one night only. Yeah. You get to see these freshmen, because they're not gonna be here next year.
Yeah.
Like we're coming to the Research Triangle. We're gonna play NC State. It's gonna probably be the last time you see Jalil Okafor in a Duke uniform. You better go and get your tickets right now.
Yeah.
Or anywhere they go. Well, let's see the best freshman in the country.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna see him next year. We're gonna see him in the NBA, but he's not gonna be in a Duke uniform.
Yeah.
So I think they market off of it, which it's almost like exploitation in the most innocent, and this sounds kind of crazy, but more so like in such a messed up way of exploiting people, because ultimately this is what it really boils down to. And like we say, I don't have a problem with a 19-year-old kid fulfilling his dreams and making money, but at the end of the day, it's about saving yourself from yourself.
Yeah.
Because you have and people and like we talked about this off camera last week, how the goal is so different for people, and now and especially now, and I think it's our age dictate how we said it's about your second contract. But I bet if we were 19,
Yeah.
oh, let's get this money today.
Yeah.
But now, 13 years later, 12 years later, it's about the 3 years. It's about the next contract. It's about the next move. What can I do now? What can I be in a situation that can put me in a predicament where I can get a max deal 3 or 4 years down the line, and vice versa. Then once I get to my prime, which currently would be, when you're looking at like a LeBron James, who like our age, where he can command a max salary for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal. But I think, and that's just saying now because far as
and the only reason why I bring it up is because you wouldn't put a 19-year-old kid on the NFL field.
No, you wouldn't.
So
because,
I think that's a professional sport. So it should be the same way with basketball.
And that's due to the physicality of the game, which it's the physicality of that. NBA is more of a mental. If they do it, it need to be based on it. Because NBA, everybody had, there's guys who have NBA bodies that can play, that are in the 10th, 11th grade in high school, that can play in the league physically, but mentally, no. Yeah. That's the issue. Football is more, okay, you'll be physically limited.
Yeah, I mean, so you take a look at Austin Rivers. He's a coach's son, so he's been to the best camps. So he's he's pretty much mentally prepared himself, but physically he wasn't up to the NBA grind.
And that's what he's a perfect example of.
So now he's been out of school 3 years. Now he's 21. Now he's starting to get that national recognition that and that's why he should have waited to come.
Exactly, and look where he's at now. Yeah. He's a free agent that can't control his destiny. Yeah. He's gonna be that type, like we said. He's going to be the type of guy, he's going to be like your 4th or 5th tier friend. Hey, let's go to Applebee's on a whim. Yeah. I mean, and it's a perfect example. He can't control his destiny. This is where you want to be at his age. You want to be at a place where you can get a deal and you're somebody's priority, not somebody's option. Like, you're going to get it on the whim of, okay, well, this team didn't, you're 4th or 5th down my list. If I can't get this person, then, well, I'll call you on the 15th. Yeah. And you should, and even though he's going to have a landing spot, but you don't want that type of thing hanging in your balance when you had an opportunity to go to a school like Duke and to stay. Yeah. That's why it's all about decisions. And I think it's hard to look at life in the future when you're living in the present, especially at the age of 19 years old. Yeah. And this move, I think, in my personal opinion, saves them from that. Yeah. Because it's going to give you an experience to humble yourself. You're gonna be on buses, son. You're gonna be in Idaho, playing in the middle of December. You're gonna be in places where you don't want to be.
Think if you come out, if you take that option, whether you go to the D League, then you mean that first contract you get should be like 2 years, $1 million, like league minimum type.
And that's one thing too. And it's like and then this helps because you'll be compensated.
Yeah, and then whereas if you come out of college, you can get a higher pay scale.
You get a higher
and that's how it should be, how it is in the real world.
And that's
if you come straight out of high school, going to the regular working world, you get
it's the entry, and the D League is the ultimate entry level position job, and that's what it ultimately boils down to. And to me, you have to save yourself from that. Yeah. You have to, because at the end of the day, it's not about 19. It's about when you're 22, 23 years old. You want to cash in on these deals. You want to be, winding down on 4th of July weekend, pop circumstance, great dinners in LA and New York. You want to be, I want to be on a private jet. I want to, Jamie Foxx come to my dinner. Yeah. Or Michael Jordan, Chrisette Michelle, or Meek Mill and Pete Siegel. That's what you want. And that's what you ultimately want. And this is a great way for them to be humble, and you get compensated, and then because these kids like this saves a guy like Emmanuel Mudiay, you don't gotta go to China. Yeah, come on home, Brandon Jennings. You ain't gotta leave Inglewood and leave your mama. Yeah, go to Sioux Falls, Idaho, and play for the whoever they are. You play them. You know, stay here.
Yeah, I just want
and
to
make that money.
Just strengthen college basketball. This is
and that's what it boils down to, because the product is extremely watered down, and you don't have that camaraderie, that type of. It's just as crazy to say. You don't have that intimate type of relationship with teams no more, because it's such an evolving door. Like that's why, like I said, University of Richmond is my wife. University of Carolina is my girlfriend. Like like when you look at it from and that's how it is, because you know the ins and outs of that school, because the kids stay.
Yeah. The
kids stay. I mean, some might transfer and some might leave.
Like, you look at the Duke UNC rivalry, it's never
the same. Never going the same.
You never see the same players.
You're not going to have that rivalry of
where you had Tyler Hansborough and JJ Redick going ahead.
Yeah, which you're not, and then you're not going to have a I hate Christian Laettner type of guy, where you're going to hate, or like a Tyler Hansborough. They're the death of I hate Christian Laettners. Yeah. Not these little 4-year guys who just there. You're like, oh man, I hate this dude. Yeah. None of that no more. Who you gonna hate? You can't hate nobody. The only person you gonna hate is Coach K.
Yeah, because everybody else is gone.
Everybody else is gone. But yeah, we can take a brief time out. We come back. We're gonna do our segment called The Reserves, which are some stories that you pretty much should be probably in the back page of your sports paper. We got a good one. I have a LA centric topic that that you do not want to miss. But we'll be right back.
That felt very first take-ish.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's the thing about the whole. That's why I hate that one and done mess, man. I hate it, and it's like
because that year when it was like the last year of high school, I was like, man, everybody's gonna declare. Yep. I was like, coming into high school, you're not ready for the NBA.
Exactly. You're not. That's why I'm saying, like, you're not ready. Like, I don't care what nobody says. You can, like, I remember, like, Aaron Gordon tweeted last year, was like, yeah, I'm in Orlando, I'm 18, I'm living on my own. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I was like, you better bring your mama with you, dog. Bring somebody, bring your cousin or somebody. Somebody need to get you straight, because
that's like LeBron's and like that's why I thought D Wade was better for the, and that's why D Wade won his first championship, because he was more seasoned. He 3 years in college.
And that's what I'm saying. Most guys, and that's what they're the guys who make the most immediate impact, because they've been through life. Like him, when he came in the league, he was already married. He had 2 kids. Like that man know how to handle a lot of stuff. You a college kid and you a parent. Like that's hard. Like, and that's why most guys, that's how it is. And then I think it hurts the upperclassmen, because the freshmen are always at the top of the line, especially when they draft and stuff. Yeah. But I think that's what helps, like a team like Chicago and all these other teams that stay in the 20s and in the late 20s and the late teens, because they get talent, upperclassmen talent. Yeah. Whereas like versus I'd rather have that and develop.
You're hanging your franchise on a 19-year-old
kid. And people are doing that repeat, like Sacramento. Sacramento has done that repeatedly. And that's why I'm like, yo, do I want to be in, like, okay, being in Sioux Falls for a year compared to being in Sacramento, and who knows, God knows where you're going to be.
That's why I say, like, if you come on early, like, say if you go 2 years, that means you go to the D-League draft. If you go to the...
So you say 2 years go to D-League. Yeah. But then I'm thinking to myself...
Because then you got, all right, so at 20, now you're traveling the road, so you're on your own. You're in the college. And it's just to prepare you, like...
Yeah.
I want to see the GPAs of those that do that one and done. Like, what do they really? They're wasting time.
They're wasting time, and they're wasting the academic resources of that university. Because, like, why am I helping? As a TA, why am I helping Jaleel Okafor, who's going to drop out? Yeah. And in the next couple of months. Like, why is he even here? I know he's leaving. It's not like a situation where the kid is, he's on the verge of, being kicked out of school academically. No, he's not coming, period. We all know when he stepped foot in August that he's only going to be here for 1 year. That's why I'm just like, And that's why I say send a guy like him to the D League out of high school. And let them and let them.
But it's just gonna be overcrowded. Like you need like something like I said, some of those guys.
I understand that, but anywhere is gonna be overcrowded.
Yeah.
The draft is gonna be overcrowded because they're gonna come in the NBA draft. But it works great in the team's favors that are in the top and beyond the lottery, because those guys, they're gonna be in the lottery. We back here on Couch Coach Live. That was a very healthy debate that we just partaked in. So we're going to our segment called the reserves. We gotta get a show. As America celebrated their 239th birthday, a lot of things have happened. People go barbecuing. People, be with friends and family. And some people, they light firecrackers. New York Giants pass rusher Jason Pierre-Paul suffered a hand injury Saturday while attempting to light fireworks. And unfortunately, in his sake, that the Giants have withdrew their $60 million long-term deal with him. And according to sources now, that he's still in the hospital, and it looks like he's going to be headed to the PUP list, which looks like he'll be out for at least training camp in the start of the regular season. So,
Pierre-Paul, you have one job.
Yeah. Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
I mean,
stay. That 6-week dark period. I mean, you're a millionaire. Why are you lighting your own firecrackers?
If I'm like him, I'll go somewhere and see firecrackers.
Yeah.
I'm not. Don't.
And so the whole situation is bad because no one is releasing any kind of statements. Like,
it's bad.
I've heard reports that he's burned off like 3 of his fingertips. He suffered a major thumb injury, and the report keeps changing each day.
And everybody's like, they don't understand the severity, but he's been in the hospital since Saturday night.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
This, at first I was thinking this was like a patient first type of thing where it's like, what? Okay, we're gonna give him a little stitches, give him a little antibiotics, and no, this man's still in the hospital.
They said this is worse than the Plaxico situation.
Wow. It's not good. It's not good. But we definitely wishing him the best of luck. But yeah, like we say, I wouldn't even touch fireworks. I'm almost to a point where when I grill, I light the little flame and I toss the newspaper in and I go. I toss the newspaper. I mean, I toss it like Peyton Manning. I don't do this. I don't do like I do this. Douche. Put it in there like that.
No, I'm an extended lighter kind of guy. So
I do the extended one. Yeah, I
still dump back just because I know the flame's
coming. Exactly. I'm not trying to be like Hannah Stone. No, dude. No, not gonna be able to do it. But also, there's a new legislation in California to protect cheerleaders for receiving wages less than minimum wage. The legislation would require California teams to pay at least minimum wage for hours worked, offer overtime as well as sick pay. It has passed in a California State Senate, and it's awaiting the signature of Governor Jerry Brown. So,
I guess the Laker girls are finally going to be worth something again.
Yeah, and then there's possibly going to be 3 teams in the state of California. Well, you got the Chargers, you got the Raiders, and the 49ers. It might be a 4th team coming, maybe, vice versa or whatever. Okay. This should be the Tell Them Why You Mad at LA portion of Couch Coach Live. We'll go over the read, and I will give you. We got 10 minutes. I give you a couple minutes, to expand on this topic. So Russell Wilson, by way of Collegiate High School, Tuckahoe, Virginia,
he ain't from Richmond.
as LA eloquently says, he's the 2-time Richmond Tennis Badge Player of the Year. Okay, and his current Seahawks quarterback, as we all know, he is in a relationship with R&B star Sierra. And according to a interview that he did for a rock church in San Diego, he told the during the interview that him and his star girlfriend is practicing abstinence until marriage. The floor is yours.
Man, this guy is just so phony. It's unbelievable that he's this phony. Why is this even a topic of your conversation? What you do with your girlfriend in your bedroom? Like, oh, we're gonna practice abstinence. Like, who knows? Is there a camera? You have a reality show set up in your house where everyone knows that this is gonna take place. What you do in your bedroom is your business. That is not for the American public to know about. So we sit there, everybody talks about gay players and gay marriage. Then you bring this up. Why? Because you want to be the face of the league. You want to be this good-hearted athlete. Everybody, he's got such good morals. His last year without a contract, he's a phony. And I despise everything to do with Russell Wilson. I just don't like him. I wish I had more time to elaborate on the situation because it's just phony. Everything he does it try to get a response out of the people. He got a response out of me, so I guess his job well done.
Yeah, job well done. He got you riled up.
Yeah, he does, and it's just like when he does his charitable events, he always has a camera crew. Like if you're gonna do stuff out of the goodness in your heart, then you do that. But why are you making this situation public?
He's probably at a Seattle area hospital as we speak.
Probably. It's Tuesday, so he does charitable work. So I should know that.
Yo,
and he received like a plastic wallet from a child a couple of years ago that he happened to bring around and carries with him every day, so he says, and he just happened to show it on ESPN one day. So I should know these things.
I mean, yeah.
Because he does things for the camera. I don't think he has a genuine bone in his body.
Yes.
And if he does have a genuine bone in his body, I hope that somebody in the NFL happens to break every last one of those bones on a blindside hit. Take the $15,000 fine. I will start a GoFundMe account and pay your fine. Just take him out. Just that's all I ask.
Oh yes, sir.
Awesome. I despise Russell Wilson more than I did Tony Romo, and I didn't think that was possible.
Wow.
I'm done now.
Next story, we got actually another guy who did a famous a famous musician. Kenyon Martin retires. Actually, the number one pick of the 2000 NBA draft is hanging it up. In his illustrious 15-year career, he had 9,325 points and 5,159 rebounds. Played for the New Jersey Nets, the Denver Nuggets, LA Clippers, Knicks, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Wow. And also used to have a neck tattoo of Trina's lips. Now I think it's a crown.
It's a crown with a basketball.
A crown with a basketball. So definitely shout out to Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin, he's the last of the dying breed. The last.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, he was the last singer.
Even though he came off an injury that year,
he broke his leg. I remember. I'm like, yeah, in those Jordans.
Yep.
I shouldn't say that out loud, but anyway. But yeah. And rounding out this week's reserves, and as we will title this show, and which you can listen to it, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Couch Coach Live. We'll also have the recording of the show on the social media as well. And we're going to deem this as sibling rivalries. We talked about Venus and Serena. Now we got to talk about the Harrison twins. They squared off in Summer League action. As we former Kentucky standouts Aaron and Andrew squared off in the Summer League. They were both born a minute apart, the 20-year-old kids. Aaron, who is undrafted, plays for the Charlotte Hornets Summer League, as well as Andrew plays for Memphis. And Andrew's Memphis Grizzlies defeated Aaron's Charlotte Hornets in Summer League action down in Orlando. So definitely shout out to the Harrison twins. Hopefully they will.
Frank Kaminsky is in where now?
Charlotte. And that's so funny. I thought about that. It was so funny because I was like, wow, they're teammates. That's what I told people,
you don't burn them bridges.
Don't burn bridges. Like, I'm glad he called him that night. And was like, yo, my bad, man. Yeah, I'm glad he did call him.
I don't think that was his fault. That was in the heat of the moment.
It was the heat of the moment. Game, so. And he's just, he's 20 years old.
And people blew that situation up more than what it needed to be.
And he did.
Yeah, Janelle Okafor had a good.
Yeah, I seen that you
tagged you in
they tagged me in the photo. And you know what I did when I got home? They re-aired at 12:30, so I watched a little bit at 12:30, as you know, getting the pre-production that was ready for the show, and contact the research department to see what we're gonna expand upon today. So yeah, any final words?
Ooh, I'm just ready. What we got? 3 more weeks till training camp?
3 more weeks of training camp, yeah. The guys will be probably checking in at the downtown hotel 3 weeks from today.
Where's my gasoline and my lighter?
I'm not going to tell you where they stay. You probably already know where they stay.
I don't know. But when I find them, trust me, they will know that I am a Philadelphia Eagle.
They're like, we found an informant. I'm gonna be like Desiree and Jay-Z. Stop it, Charlie. But anyway, so yeah, I guess follow us like I said earlier. Follow us on social media. Follow me at couch_coach. Instagram.
Showtime 804.
Yes, sir. And you're on Twitter as well.
I am Showtime_804.
Okay. I think I followed you.
Okay.
I don't know if I got a request yet from you or whatever. I think you're like you have a private account or something like that.
I don't know. I've been on Twitter. I only get on Twitter during the free agency period.
Yeah.
That's when Schefter tweets a lot, so I have to find out who's going where.
Yeah, I'm starting to now get the tweet, and now I'm starting to try to get the social media aspect in there. Try to get all that squared away. And I guess what we do next week, we're gonna discuss. We're gonna be doing a live fantasy football draft coming in. I think we're gonna do it either August 23rd or August the 30th. That's gonna be on a Sunday.
Okay.
So, but what we'll do, we'll get everything together, and we'll definitely expand on it next week. And this is Couch Coach Live, and we'll talk back with you next week.